Welcome to Celebrity Reports, the place where we dive deep into the fascinating world of celebrities and uncover the stories behind the headlines. For over 30 years, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson dominated late-night television. Johnny's charm, wit, and impeccable comedic timing made him a household name and an icon. But even with over 4,000 episodes broadcast during his legendary run, there's one particular night NBC wishes the public would forget forever. It's the lost Johnny Carson episode, a mysterious broadcast the network allegedly tried to bury, and the reason they're still terrified you might one day see it. The date was March 18, 1987. According to NBC's official records, a regular taping of The Tonight Show took place at Studio One in Burbank. But unlike every other night, this episode was never re-aired, syndicated, or preserved in the network archives. Rumors began to swirl among staff that something strange had occurred during the taping. It started off like any other show. Johnny walked out to thunderous applause, Ed McMahon welcomed viewers with his usual booming voice, and the monologue was filled with the night's top headlines and Carson's usual biting humor. But once the first guest appeared, things took a bizarre turn. That guest was a young comedian named Rick Delroy, a fictional up-and-comer whose impersonations of politicians and celebrities had made him a regular on comedy circuits and late-night shows. He was invited on Carson's show for what was expected to be a light, crowd-pleasing performance. But what happened instead was something no one in the audience, or the network, could have anticipated. Rick took the stage with high energy, but quickly deviated from his planned material. He launched into a rapid-fire impersonation routine, not of celebrities, but of NBC executives, producers, and even Carson himself. At first, the crowd laughed along. But then, the impressions turned biting. He mimicked a top NBC executive's alleged behind-the-scenes behavior and even referenced secret meetings that insiders later admitted had happened just days before. There was an eerie feeling that this wasn't just comedy. Rick seemed to be exposing real conversations that were never meant for the public. Johnny, clearly uncomfortable, tried to laugh it off and shift the conversation, but Rick doubled down. A few jokes seemed to reference private things Johnny himself had told producers off-air, leaving the host visibly stunned. Ed McMahon, typically unfazed by even the wildest segments, looked unusually silent. Things spiraled even further when the second guest, an acclaimed actress named Valerie Hartman, came out early to break up the awkward segment. She exchanged whispers with Johnny before the cameras cut to commercial. According to multiple crew members who later shared what happened backstage, Valerie reportedly threatened to leave the set if the segment wasn't stopped immediately. When the show returned from break, the energy had completely changed. Johnny skipped several pre-planned questions, ended Rick's interview early, and moved on without his usual comedic follow-ups. Audience members noted the strange tension, and several have claimed they were told not to discuss the taping outside the studio. After the show wrapped, NBC executives quickly convened. A decision was made overnight: the episode would never air again. Not only that, but all existing footage was to be destroyed. Internally, it was labeled a network-level containment issue. Some believe the episode revealed confidential internal politics, others think it simply damaged the network's carefully curated image. Strangely, despite all efforts to erase the episode, one supposed VHS copy was rumored to have been taken by a former intern. Over the years, collectors and fans have claimed to have seen blurry clips or audio snippets, but no verified footage has ever been made public. NBC has issued takedown notices to any user claiming to share pieces of the episode, further fueling speculation that the network is hiding something significant. What's even more mysterious is Johnny Carson's response, or lack thereof. He never publicly acknowledged the incident. However, in a rare interview from 1991, when asked about the most difficult moment in his career, he paused and simply said, "There was one night I wish hadn't happened." You try to control the room, but sometimes the room takes over. NBC's silence has only added to the legend. Today, the lost Johnny Carson episode is the subject of blogs, forums, and conspiracy theories. Was it just a chaotic show that went off the rails? Or was it something more, a moment of accidental truth that the network couldn't afford to let the world see? Whatever happened that night in March 1987, one thing is certain: the mystery lives on. And for those who remember Carson's legendary control over late-night television, The fact that a single episode could shake the foundation of that empire remains one of the most compelling stories in entertainment history.